Hello and welcome to Five Flags. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53. I partner with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this Learn to Drive video for the iRacing Super Late Model Tour. This is the fixed setup tour that's running full season, similar to the NIS schedule. So we are here at Five Flags, which is kind of a staple on the Super Late Model Tour, one of the biggest Super Late Model races of the year. The Snowball Derby is held here. You'll have a lot of races here within iRacing at Five Flags. And it's really a track where if you can figure out how to run it really, really well, you can be super successful at a number of different places. So let's kind of hop in here and kind of talk about this. But before we do that, if you guys can, hit like, hit subscribe. It does a ton to help get my message out across YouTube, helps get iRacers just like you our message, and teach them kind of some of the tricks and tips within iRacing. And also, it helps support my local racing here in Wisconsin. I race a late model. My daughter is hoping to race a go-kart this year, so anything we can do to help get eyes on us is a big help. So here we go for Five Flags with the fixed setup. Pretty much the only thing that I changed was I went to a +4 offset. I think it was a +2 offset before. I just like having that little bit less rotation that I have to turn into the corner. So when we talk about the steering ratio, basically for every 1 degree of steering wheel input that you put in is 1 degree of wheel turn actually on the car. So iRacing will tell you on the bottom here if you're looking at higher ratios, a slower response. So if you went to a 16, 14 to 1, the wheel is going to be a lot slower. You've got to put 14 degrees of wheel motion in before you can achieve 1 degree of turn. If you go to an 8 to 1, 8 degrees of wheel turn for 1 degree of tire turn. So just kind of keep that in mind. Steering offset is basically you take like your MPI wheel or any wheel that has a tape line at the center, and basically what you're doing at a +4 is you're moving it to like a 1 o'clock. So then your centered is basically where it's off center when you're going down the straightaway, and as you turn into the corner, you just don't have to go quite as far to the left, which can make it easier for you to drive if everything's kind of closer to you. And then brake balance bar, smaller percentage is going to make the car looser on entry, bigger percentage is going to make it tighter. I usually tell guys, leave this alone in a fixed environment and then you can click it down as you need. So we'll kind of leave her there, which the best way to click it down is to go into your options. If you missed what I did there, options, click on control, and then you're going to set a brake bias button. And then I also recommend that you guys go under options, and you set up your display delta bar for during the race, and then you set up buttons to be able to tab over as you're doing those. And that's going to come in really, really handy for you. So let's head out here for qualifying. Lap 2 is going to be your fast lap. So lap 1's kind of a little bit of a throwaway lap. We're just going to kind of tire heat coming out of the pits. We've kind of fast forwarded through that. So tire heat coming out of the pits, gas, brake, swerve, alternates. You can do that pretty much all the way up until you get to onto the back stretch. And then you should be pretty good. Get her up into fourth gear. Yep, fourth gear. And then you're really just looking to see how much grip this car has here. So you can see it's pretty good. We're going to go high here in 3 and 4 and get another big run coming. Speed at the start finish line, we got 125 miles an hour. So you can already see here pretty much at the start finish line is where I start to turn in for turn 1. I'm starting to get it cranked to get her turned in. We're going to lift and brake and roll this car. All of the speed at Five Flags, whether you're running fixed or open setup, is going to be with this left front tire below this black seam here, between the black seam and the white line. If you can get a little below that white line, sometimes you can be okay. As you go around the corner here, you want to be low, right by this green cone where you can almost reach out and grab your green cone. Rotate off here about the time that the pit wall is kind of starting to come back up towards the grass. That's where you're going to throttle up. You'll drive hard off the corner. You'll set up turn 3. You're going to lift at the Carpenter's Campers billboard. Use a little bit of brake on entry just to slow it up. And then you'll throttle up nice and hard off. So if you noticed, I kind of rotated in here high, and then we dropped it down low and drove off. It's pretty similar if you watched our Five Flags Open setup video. The line around here is fairly similar. It's just going to be the speed and where you're throttling and braking that's going to vary a little bit based on setup. And that's going to change a little bit in the race. So let's let you guys sit in the car and watch the lap, and then we'll start kind of talking here about race a little bit. So keep in mind, I have triple monitors. Far left monitor has my window net basically where it would be in my real car. So here we go. And there's your lap in 009. Now when we talk about race trim, okay, race trim, you have 200 laps in this race. And the big thing that I see at Five Flags a lot, whether it's in a league race, whether it's in iRacing official races, whatever it might be, is that everybody wants to try and win these races lap one, turn one. And it always creates a big wreck, or 20 laps in, they're moving people for position. And when you got a 200 lap race, it's probably not the brightest thing to do is to crash out 50 laps into it. So a big thing that you guys are going to want to do is definitely going to be tire save. If you get a lot of cautions, you'll have to tire save even less. But basically what I did was I went out here and I ran, what was it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 laps. And we're going to go in here and look at the garage. And we've got 98 tires, 98, 98, 166, 163. So 98 is our right side tires. That's kind of our goal there. What we're going to do then, so we ran, you guys saw how fast we ran. So now I went out and I did a race run. The difference in a race run is obviously no tire heat, basically. So what I would project for my race pace to be in here would be like a 1.8, so a low 2, probably right around a 16.2 would be where I would want all of these other laps to fall within here. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in this car. And the reason that I said it was super important for you guys to have that delta bar up is because we're going to use that to help us set our race pace and to really know where we can go. The other big point here is that you can only do 156, about 150 laps on fuel. So even though it's full of fuel, you're going to have to pit no later than 50 to go, basically. I would recommend probably pitting right around halfway and just getting that out of the way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go out, and our goal is going to be about 0.2 slower than our session best lap, which shouldn't be too hard, especially on this first lap. So you can see how I'm just kind of working that, right? I'm lifting a little bit longer. I'm not quite as aggressive on throttle, and I'm carrying it out. So our goal here is going to be, and 7 laps might not be enough to really be able to tell this, but our goal is going to be to improve our tire wear and really work on that tire wear and see kind of where we end up. So if we just have to ride in these races, right, we're going to ride the first half of this race and just kind of put ourselves in a good position to be good to go for the second half. Or ride for the first half of the race and then go get tires at halfway. So, ride for the first 50 laps, then run hard the last 50, and really have a good idea of how hard we can push for the second 50, or the second 100, which, in all honesty, in iRacing is usually pretty all out, just simply because there's so many cautions the last little bit from guys getting aggressive that usually we can just go full tilt and not really have to worry. We're going to run 2 more laps. 16.223. But you can see we're really just trying to be about 0.2 slower. Now, if we were really wanting to protect this, we could just go to session last lap because we got a lap time that we really like. And now our goal is just to kind of stay within that. 16.203. So you can see I'm kind of moving up the track a little bit, just really trying to make it a little bit easier on me, dragging a little bit more brake here into the corner, whatever that might be, just to get us a good lap. So now what we'll do is we'll go out here. Let's see how close we got on number of laps. Yeah, we're pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're perfect. So now we go into the garage, and instead of being 98.98, we're 99.99. So just using that little bit of method there is going to slow this car down a little bit. We're still at 100 on the left front. We're at 99 on the rears. So it's really just, slowing down a little bit more, being softer on throttle on exit, playing, not being quite as aggressive you saw there. And you're going to get guys that want to be aggressive and just let them go ahead of you. Let them pass you, let them be the guinea pig that treats you, that you can kind of see how hard they run and if they can make it. And I think in these long races, if you're really, really conservative with your lap times and you really take care of your equipment, especially with iRacing fixed setups, I think you can do a lot more. So that'll be something to kind of keep in mind. The other thing is with this being such a long race, there's a good chance that the second lane is going to start to come in up here. So if you got a little bit more car left over and you're able to run that second lane once it starts to come in, you're really going to be able to move places. Or if people are going really slow, they're going to move up and you're just going to be able to eat them up here at the end of the run. And that's really our goal, is just to be able to do that, to have something for the end of the race and put yourself in position to win. Um, Biggest places to pass here: entry to 1, entry to 3. We see a lot of guys like to dive it in there, but then 2, the biggest places where people make mistakes, I think, are exit of 2 and exit of 4, obviously because you're on throttle, right? They try and get on throttle too much, they get loose, they spin out, they wreck. So you set up your pass, corner exit, you complete it really on corner entry here at Five Flags. You show bottom, you're underneath someone, they got to give you the lane, and then just after a couple laps, you're able to wear them down. It does become a lot more difficult though if you're burning off your tires to be able to clear people. And that's where just being conservative and being patient is going to play off for you guys. So let me know how you guys do if you end up running the iRacing Super Late Model Tour. We're always happy to hear. You can visit us too on our website, team53racing.com. Sign up for your Team 53 season pass. $53 gets you setups for all 5 short track cars. Visit us over on our Facebook page and join our Discord. We always like having new faces in the Discord. We got a lot of good stuff going on, and best of luck this week, and we will see you guys in the next one.